As you can see, I am wearing my Salish regalia today. This regalia was made by my dear relative Anita, my husband's cousin, and regalia is very important to us to represent who we are, the families and the communities we belong to.
I'm wearing traditional regalia from the Squamish people. This is representative of many of our Coast Salish families around the Salish Sea. Starting with my headband, I have eagle feathers, split eagle feathers on a wool headband. This represents clarity of thought, to connect to the universe, to have a good mind, a strong mind in how we think. I also have a swoklith, which is the mountain goat wool blanket. This would have been done traditionally out of the wool of the mountain goats. And this would have been very important, of course, during the ice ages to have regalia that was warm. It sure is hot today in this climate change. I also wear a paddle jacket with miniature paddles that represent the storms, the wind, the rain that comes off the Pacific Ocean and hits our west coast. This is velvet, which traditionally would have been made out of sea otter pelt. I also have cedar bark bracelets with deer hooves on them to represent, that our hands are important tools, to watch how we use our hands. I have an apron that was traditionally used by our men, short in the front for when we're canoeing, longer in the back for when we're running through the mountains. And these also have an eagle that I put on there with the two wolves, which is my clan, and the frog in the middle to represent supernatural beings with the deer hooves. I have leggings, and these would have been also woven out of mountain goat wool. And then I have my buckskin moccasins with rabbit fur and some beadwork representing the holistic balance of our mental, emotional, spiritual, and physical well-being. So this is my regalia that I use in majority of my presentations, but I have many other regalias that I use for specific occasions, such as ceremony.
Traditionally, we wear our regalia to represent our families and our communities in a good way. Our people would utilize the fur from the mountain goat, and we would also utilize the fur from a domesticated dog called the woolly dog. This material is very sacred and respected to our people, and although we don't have that access to those materials, we still wear our blankets and our shawls, such as the wool shawl I'm wearing today. This shawl is representative of my community, and it's also a representative of the celebration of diversity through the color of the rainbow. The headband I'm wearing is made out of cloth. It's also made out of the inner bark of the sacred cedar tree. And when we wear our headgear, it is again to show respect to our guests, and to also show respect for ourselves and the families we come from. This is my great-grandmother Molly-on, and she's in the forest with her sisters, her sister-in-laws, and in fact they're up in the mountain. And they're already elderly, but they're very strong and healthy. And these women would travel together, and they would gather and harvest their cedar roots for making the beautiful elaborate cedar baskets. It's often said that we're the first generation in tourism, but in fact my great-grandmother, who was born in the mid-1800s, with her sisters, they were the ones that would participate in tourism because they would sell their baskets to the visitors to the Sunshine Coast, and with those monies or sometimes trade that they earned, they would support their families.
The Coast Salish peoples often use geometry in their weaving and basketry in their designs. These are ancient designs that represent our connection to our territories, often representing the eye of the Creator, the eye of our ancestors, the eye of our future generations, that we stand in a very sacred space. They also represent the peaks and the valleys of our territories, that we come from a mountainous region on the Pacific Northwest coast with beautiful glaciers and mountains, also valleys. That represents our language with our inflections of our language and how we speak. They also represent lineage and continuation of our responsibilities of our ancestral names that connect us to our ancient peoples. So there's many different teachings that are encoded within our geometry.
I find this really inspiring to to see our people on that land and to see that real intimate, close relationship with the land. And this is what I wish for myself, my daughter, and to our future generations. So when I look at this picture, it just reminds me we are the land and the land is us.